each and every individual.
Great, great. It's great to have you in our midst. God bless. Hope you have a good time. Okay, let's go. And now is the time we will move into the session. Today's session is about how to use social media effectively for your church. So it is all about not sharing a new thing, but it is just to bring in some of the data, some of the things together, and encourage all of you. If you are looking for your church to be effective in social media, we'll share a few strategies, we'll share a few things that will definitely help you. So come follow along. We are stepping into the space of doing this session. Uh, we have a friend here, uh, David, who is taking care of the live thing. David, how has been your experience?
Yeah, it's good actually. Well, yeah,
And are you happy with the things the live has worked out?
yeah,
Have you learned something?
yes, very, very much.
One thing that he has learned is, you know, even if you start the live stream from Pro Presenter, do go and check the YouTube studio. Sometimes the live doesn't start there. So you have to hit a button there as well. So that is what he has learned. Okay. So I'm just switching the audio. I'll look into the another. All these young people have come together and just raised their hands and and done incredible stuff for planning. So let's step into the session, and the session is all about how to use social media effectively for your church, right? So that is the session which we will be talking about in the next 30 minutes. I know if you are someone who is actually part of a local church, right, one thing that I want to start with is a Bible verse that you can see in the screen in the next slide, right? And this Bible verse is Mark chapter 15 verse Mark chapter 16 verse 15. Mark chapter 16 verse 15. These are the words of Jesus. And in this particular verse, Jesus says, go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Right? So this was the command of Jesus Christ more than 2000 years back when he was here in planet Earth in his physical form. He spent 33 and a half years and he told his disciples, go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Right? In the 21st century, especially at this age, we would look at the world and we may think, how can I go into all the world? But then we can see what are the devices that we are holding today, what are the networks that we are connected, because we all are blessed with the technology. And technology connects one part of the world with another. We have internet, we have social media. Now when we read this verse in the context of today, what is my world? How can I go into all the world? Yes, I can, because there is this social media, there is this internet that allows me to go into that space and preach the gospel to every creature. Now let me ask you this question. Okay, it's a very heart to heart question. I know you all may be experienced, you may be doing great things in social media. I'm not coming here as an expert, but I'm coming here as a co-laborer. I'm coming here as your brother who has who has always pondered about this question. And this question is, what is your Mark 16:15 in the social media space? If you are a church, if you are someone who's part of a church social media team, if you are someone who is part of a church, and if you are exploring how to use social media effectively for your church, I would definitely encourage you, form a team and ask this question to yourself. What is our Mark 16:15 in the social media space, right? Which is the world that God wants to step into so that I can preach gospel? Now let me tell you, I can show you this particular graphic that you see on the screen. You can fill in the blanks as you see. Go into fill in the blanks and preach the good news or the gospel to fill in the blanks. All right, so add your relevant social media platform. I'm not telling that every church should be in every other social media platform, right? You as a church need to come together and see what are you called for. I believe that every social media platform is just like a country. Instagram is a country, Facebook is a country, TikTok is a country, YouTube is a country, right? What is it that God is asking you to step into? Go into what? which is the country in the social media which you want to step into. We all know about different missionaries who would do a lot of sacrifices, take a lot of burden to go into a new country, right? And they will do a lot of research, they will do a lot of prayer, a lot of things will happen before their travel. And one thing that definitely happens is I'm so sorry, that definitely happens is they would try to learn the culture of the country where they are going. They would try to learn the language of the country, the context of the country. And that is what even happens in the social media space, in the virtual space. Sometimes we may think, right, when I'm stepping into this new space, I can just go in and do my stuff. Virtual, physical has a mapping. Just like how we would be so careful about physical things, physical countries, we have to be very much, thoughtful about the virtual countries that we are stepping in. And as a church, always do this research. What is a relevant social media platform for us to step into? And why do I need to go, right? When I say, okay, preach the good news to whom, right? Who are the people group that I want to target in this particular social media platform? Instagram, right? Who are the people who frequently visit, right? If you see the stats, you will find that Instagram population, like the users of Instagram are mostly less than 35 years of age, right? And when you look into Facebook, it is mostly around 35 to higher age. So that is how the demography is, arranged. So if you are someone who wants to reach out in an Instagram space, you have to make sure that you are actually creating something around youth, because youth is where, youth is mostly in Instagram. So if your content is not relevant to youth, you may not be able to reach out to them. So ask this question, and if you ask this question, sometimes the answer will be like this, what you see on the screen, right? Go into Instagram. Yes, Instagram is a virtual country for me, and we as a church need to go into that space and preach what, right? It's not preaching the human philosophies, it is preaching the good news. And that is where I would just like to take a pause. Okay, social media ministry is very much connected to the Great Commission, right? We have to go and make disciples, right? We can only make disciples if we preach the gospel. It's not our human thoughts, but preaching the true gospel. So good news, preaching the good news to youth on Instagram, that can be an opportunity. But how do we preach, right? Because Instagram has its own language, right? Sometimes, Instagram's language is reels. We all know how reels has captured the attention of our young people, isn't it? It's not a lengthy thing. It's a very small thing, because attention span is so limited. And I would say, if you are someone who's looking to go into Instagram, right, try to understand the culture, the context, how people are using it, what are the contents that are relevant, how can I create those contents. All these things are important, and those are the opportunities that you don't want to miss. I just want to share this example in this next slide. The reason I want to share this is because I'm standing at #Pune 2025. Last year at #Pune 2024, 10 young people came together from different churches in the city. They came together, they formed a team, and they created what you see on the screen. It is called Christian Reel Templates Instagram page. This Instagram page was supposed to, have real templates in it, which will have a gospel-centric message. And as you know, reels are short. Some are just 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or even less than that, or even 21 seconds, right? Real content they created. We started from zero. The page was created back in November 2024. In the last 1 year, we started from zero. Let me tell you, for the glory of God, and this is only God, because it's organic. We didn't push for it. It is God who did it. And it was because there was a group of young people who took that small step of faith and understood the people group whom they want to reach out to and what they want to reach out with. It was the gospel to the people, to the youth on Instagram. And let me tell you, for the last 1 year, from zero we started. Now, in the last 1 year, it has got more than 20 million views. It has reached more than 12 million users all around the world, with more than 4 million engagements and interactions that has happened. When people see this content, they respond. It's just like, someone coming into your physical space in a church. They may listen to a sermon, and after the service, they may go and talk to the pastor. Now, let me tell you, in Instagram, like in a social media platform, right, the post, the type of content may be the pulpit, and you preach the gospel from that pulpit. You preach the gospel through reels, you preach the gospel through carousels, you preach the gospel through stories, you preach the gospel through posts, you preach the gospel through lives. That is the pulpit. After you stop speaking, there are people who come and interact with you in the comment section, and that is how interactions and engagement happen. People comment, people share, people save, people add those things into their stories, share with their friends, and that is how the gospel goes viral. And that is what happened in the first century church. When people were scattered, they took the gospel and spread it all across. And that is the beauty of the social media. And this I just wanted to share today. Let me tell you, this is a snapshot. We are close to 8,000 followers. So if you're someone who has not followed Christian Reel templates, we are just 8 short, right? 8 short, we'll cross 8,000. And let me tell you, this was a God story that on the very same hack venue, on the same hack day, the thing that was created 1 year back, we are crossing a milestone that very same day, right? So this is God, and this is where the next mission field lies. And I just want to move into some of the strategies. If you're someone who is looking, why should you be on social media? Let me tell you, social media is a space where you are engaging with hearts, right? It is not engaging with just a user account. You are engaging with the message, engaging with the hearts of the people who are seeing your content, and they are already in there. It is not like you need to pull them in, right? We may have to pull people, come to church, come to this building, but we don't have to do that in Instagram because they are already spending a lot of time just doom scrolling. You are engaging with their hearts where they are already scrolling, and it is not the enemy. Social media is not the enemy, it's an environment. That is what a church should start to think. It's an environment, it's not an enemy. Jesus, if you see Jesus met people where they were. Jesus would go to the sinners, he would have a conversation. Remember Jesus talking to a Samaritan woman? Jesus didn't call her to a synagogue. Jesus went where she was and had a beautiful conversation on the well side. And Samaritan woman turned to an evangelist. Let me tell you, there are so many Samaritan women, broken men in social media, just doom scrolling. Your one message, right, that is connected with the gospel can change. A post can be a seed. A story can start a conversation, right? So the question is, should we be in social media or not? Many churches are struggling. Should we be in social media, or is there any need? It's not about should we. It is about how we need to use it intentionally. So I just want all of you to think that now how we can as a church use social media intentionally, and that is what matters. Next slide, if you see what you see on the screen, we may think, okay, we'll just post something, every week we may do something, we are doing something in social media, and that will give us some kind of fulfillment. We have a social media handle, we have a team, they are posting something, but let me tell you, without a strategy, it is just a noise, right? So think about it, whether you are just posting randomly or you are reaching out purposefully. Because if you're just posting randomly some Bible verse without any strategy, right, that makes no sense, right? You need to reach purposefully. That is the thing that I want to share. A strategy will help you to define the goal. What is my goal, right? So think as a church, what is your goal? What is your goal? Because this is social media is a missional tool. The devices that we carry is a missional tool. What goal I want to achieve? It will give you clarity on the audience you want to reach out to. Maybe you're reaching out to students, you're reaching out to non-Christians, you're reaching out to seekers of the truth, right? So you can create content aligning to that, right? So always start with a why. What is the purpose? Why? Second question is who? Who is the audience you want to reach out to? Third, what is the message? The message is about the gospel. How you can repurpose different things and present the gospel message. What? Fourth question is where? Which platform? Where you should post the content, whether it is Instagram, whether it is WhatsApp, whether it is TikTok, whether it is Facebook, whether it is Snapchat, think. And then last question is when, because the rhythm also matters. When are you posting it? Are you doing it consistently, right? So gospel message never changes, but the methods change. So, my advice to all the churches, especially in the city of Pune where I am right now, methods will differ. Message must never differ. We are standing with the true gospel, and that should never be diluted. And we can present the true message of the gospel through multiple ways. And that is what I would encourage you to do. Let me tell you, digital mission is a real thing, right? 5 years back, when COVID struck us, we were all locked down. And suddenly, every church was like kind of looking for ways of how they can, connect or gather the people online. People who never explored Zoom, people who never explored social media, people who never explored YouTube were suddenly put on YouTube, right? That was the opportunity, and the churches did well. Let me tell you, churches did well. But post COVID, I can see another wave happening where people have the resources in their hand, and that resources may not be a great resource, maybe a 5 loaves or 2 fish. But what are you going with this 5 loaves and 2 fish? Are you giving it to Jesus? Because Jesus has power to multiply your resources. So whatever is in your hand today, we have phone in your hand, so give it to the Lord. And digital mission field has so many gates. If you are someone who are exploring Instagram, let me tell you, or YouTube, reels and shorts, it captures attention, right? And it reaches to non-followers, right? So if you want to evangelize the world using the social media, reels and shorts are a good way to inspire people. Second, stories, right? You have Instagram stories, we have WhatsApp statuses. It is a good way to start conversation. That is where interaction happens. Third is about, if you look into Instagram, there's something called carousels, right? Where you can communicate a message, using different slides, and you can create some curiosity, adding something, some text in first slide, and asking people to swipe to the left, and then as they swipe, they understand the message, right? So carousels is for education, for better understanding. And then we have live sessions, we have YouTube, we have Instagram live. It helps us to connect to people in real time. It builds a community, right? Imagine after a Sunday service, maybe if there is a live session that is conducted where we discuss about what was being taught on Sunday in the church, and many people who would open, right? And you share the link of the sermon, and then there is a community that builds up. There's an interaction that happens, and that is where connection happens in real time. And then we have direct messages and comments. That is where discipleship happens, right? You are moving from content to care, right? When people comment, are you taking time to respond to them? If people direct message you, are you taking time to ask them the right questions so that you will know them better? You will know their needs, where are they coming from, what are they facing? And your next post can be the answer to the struggles that they are facing, and you will only know their struggles if you connect with them, right? So let me tell you, every social media platform is a digital pulpit. Use them purposefully, right? And then next slide, when you come, always think about this, because I have talked to many pastors, I've talked to many leaders in the church, social media team. One question they always ask me is how to get viral, right? How to get viral. I have a YouTube channel, how to get viral. I have an Instagram channel, how to get viral. Let me tell you, that should not be our first question. First question should be how to be consistent in this digital mission field. Consistency is greater than virality. If you are consistent, you are faithful. And if you do something, God is more faithful to take that message which you are actually publishing consistently to more people, right? So it's okay if you're just creating one post a week, but do it consistently. If there are 52 weeks in a year, at the end of the year, you should have 52 posts which you created with high quality, with a lot of intent, and you did it consistently. Create a yearly calendar, monthly calendar, align post with seasons. Sometimes you would know that world will celebrate different seasons. Align your content, your post, aligning to that season, because many people come to social media looking for content around the season, and when they see a gospel-centric message, that speaks to their heart because they're already searching in that season for some content, right? So what you see on the screen is something that you can create as a calendar, right? Social media calendar for a church. If you have not worked on it, let me tell you, you may think, who is the expert in my church? Let me tell you, if you have people in your church who are in the age group 15 to 35, you have the team with you, because they are the digital generation, the Gen Zs and the Gen Alpha. They have been born into an internet world. They use digital devices on a regular basis. Their minds have been formed by the digital devices that they carry. And sometimes, as a pastor, I being a pastor, sometimes you wonder, like, I would preach a sermon, but my audience would not receive it, because there is a reason for it, because the audience's mind have been formed by the digital devices. So as a pastor, if I have to bring a message to my audience, I need to construct it in a way that minds can receive. And today, let me tell you, some of the transformation may not happen in that 45-minute sermon, but it may happen in a 30-minute reel, where I took a part of the sermon and I processed it. I added some subtitles, I added some graphics, I added some background music, and I kept on posting it throughout the week. They may not listen to my 45-minute sermon on a Sunday, but they will not miss my 30-second reels from Monday to Friday, and that would be the crux of the message. So if you are someone as a pastor thinking how I can use it, this is a way. Reach your people where they are, right? They may be for 3 hours in your Sunday service, but Monday to Saturday, they are somewhere else, and obviously they are connected, because once they come back from their home, if you may invite them to a Bible study, they may not come, but they will never fail to open their phone and do scrolling and reach them with the message of the gospel in their next scroll. And that is what I want to encourage all of you. Likes don't matter. If you're not getting any likes, if it is not getting viral, it doesn't matter, but lives do matter, right? Why I started in the first place. The goal isn't followers. If you have 500 followers, but you are getting good engagement, that is the best thing. That it's not about followers, it's about fruitfulness, right? Always give them a next step in social media. Sometimes you wonder, we create good content and we stop there, but give them the next step. Use comments, DMs, track conversations, all these things matter, and that is where disciples are formed, right? So I'll just end with this. As you can see, your mission field is already in your pocket. So just look it in your pocket. You may have a phone. Take that phone in your hand right now and just place your hand over it and say, yes, I have a missional tool in my hand. My church has a missional tool. I will be intentional, authentic, consistent. The next revival may not start in a Friday prayer meeting, but it may start in a comment section of an Instagram reel. Am I there? If you are not there, let me tell you, God is already there, right? So it is right time for us to take this baton and say, yes, I will go into that space. Thank you so much for listening in. If you have any questions, let me just look into the YouTube chat. If you have any questions, you can definitely, interact with us. We are just going to wrap 3:39. We are just 5 minutes. We are just saying, if you have any questions or if you want to add any comments in the YouTube chat, if you have a question to ask, you can ask it. But let me tell you, I'm standing in the very place where I see around 50 individuals, with different skills, whether it be tech, whether it be creative, designing, or any other skills. They are considering it as a 5 loaves and 2 fish that they have brought, and they are giving it to Jesus, right? What will be built in a day? How will it be a change? Let me tell you, more than the change outside, it will be the change inside. I believe and I pray that everyone who has stepped into this space, right, will go back to their local church and be the light and the salt through the local church that they are part of. And local church is the hope to the world. And today I'm in the city of Pune. You may be watching this stream from a different city in a different country, but let me tell you, if you are part of the local church, you are part of the mission, and that is where it all begins. So never give up. I can see Anand Ahire, praise the Lord. Thank you Anand for joining in. Anand was one of the participants in Hack Aurangabad. Thank you for joining in this live stream, right? And you are part of the church. You can form a team and do something for the church social media team. You're already doing it. Keep doing what you're already doing, and the mission that you are in is a precious mission. So I'll just take a moment to pause if there's any other thing. But I know that many people would watch this stream later. Whoever is watching this is my final words. In this 21st century, the missionary looks different, right? In the 20th century, in the 18th century, the missionary was someone with a bag in his hand. But today, the missionary may be a laptop in his hand, or the phone in his hand, or an AirPod on his ears, or a mic in his hand. The missions field has changed, the methods have changed, but the message remains the same. And the message is powerful. Message is what brings transformation. With that, thank you, Vinita from Chhattisgarh. Oh wow, Chhattisgarh, another state in India. I feel there's a lot of potential in Chhattisgarh as well. A lot of young people. There's a lot of persecution. Physical gatherings are all difficult, but be there. Stand strong. Use the tools that you carry in your pocket. Go back to your church and see how you can serve using social media. Thank you for watching. Yes, very true. Thank you so much. we'll be wrapping up this session. Thank you for staying back till the end. And this is what Hack is. So in the initial part of this stream, we just went around this room and talked to different people. So after this stream, do watch this video and get a taste of Hack, because Hack is where hope is taking birth. God bless you. This is Jaison Abraham signing off. Have a wonderful evening. And if you are someone who is around Pune, and if you still want to come in, you can come in. We have gathered in the central part of Pune, near Pune railway station, right? So we still welcome people. Come along and be a part of this revival. Thank you. God bless. See you.